Welcome to today's video lecture, where we're going to actually discuss nucleic acids, one of the 4 organic compounds. We're going to talk about the basic structure, then we're going to discuss the different types, and then finally we're going to talk about the functions of those different types. So let's get started. First, with the basic structures of organic compounds, there are 3 parts. The first part is what's referred to as a phosphate group. This has a phosphate or phosphorus atom in it. So, in the past we've been discussing other organic compounds. Carbohydrates have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Lipids have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Proteins have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. And so now we've added phosphorus to the basic structure of nucleic acids. So if you see a structure of something that has carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus in it, this is most likely going to be a nucleic acid. The other way you can identify a nucleic acid is it's because it is going to have the 3 parts. So you've got the phosphate group that we said. The phosphate group is then joined to a piece in the center, which is a 5-carbon sugar. This is actually a carbohydrate. So there's a carbohydrate piece within your nucleic acid. Okay? So we have our 5-carbon sugar. And then finally we end up with something that's called a nitrogen base. There are 5 different nitrogen bases that we're going to talk about eventually, okay? And we're going to refer to them as either DNA, RNA, or both and what they're in. So the 3 parts to a nucleic acid are a phosphate group, a 5-carbon sugar, which you'll see as a pentagon usually, and then a nitrogen base, which you'll see sometimes as a square or a rectangle with a cutout or an indent on it, or a piece that comes out, so that they will actually fit together like puzzle pieces eventually. And again, the 5 atoms that are in nitrogen bases are carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. And again, those are the 5 atoms that are in nucleic acids. So next, we're going to talk about the types. There are 2 types of nucleic acids. We have DNA and we have RNA. And most of you have already heard of those different things, but you might not know all the differences between them. So one of the differences in the structure between DNA and RNA is that DNA has the sugar known as deoxyribose. DNA is called deoxyribonucleic acid, and so the sugar is part of the name deoxyribose. RNA contains the sugar called ribose. RNA stands for ribonucleic acid, so part of the name is the sugar, ribonucleic acid. One of the other differences is the bases. I just said we were going to talk about the bases. DNA contains the bases adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. And a lot of times they're referred to as their first initial letter. So A, T, C, G you'll refer to a lot of times when you refer to DNA. In RNA contains the bases adenine, cytosine, and guanine, which are the same, but then it has a different base. It doesn't contain thymine. It actually contains a base called uracil. So RNA, ATGU, or ACGU, sorry. Let me correct that. RNA has the bases ACGU. Okay? Finally, in the structure of them, another piece that's different. DNA is double-stranded, so a lot of times you see it as that double helix ladder winding with the ladder in there. Or you'll have the single strand, which is RNA, and you have one side with just these little half pieces coming off of it. You don't have the double-sided ladder. So DNA is double-stranded, RNA is single-stranded. Finally, we're going to talk about the functions, and there are 3 major functions of nucleic acids that we're going to talk about. The first function is that it stores genetic information. Your DNA stores the genetic information of your body inside the nucleus of your cells. So that's the first function. From there, your RNA actually takes that information from your nucleus as a message, takes it from there, and is able to help transfer that genetic information to help make things in your body that need to be made. And we're going to talk about that actually a couple of units later. So, RNA will transfer your genetic information. The other piece is that RNA is also is an energy source for your body. It's immediate energy. The carbohydrates that you eat are actually broken down into substances called ATP. ATP is an RNA molecule, okay? It's called adenosine triphosphate, so it has the base adenine with triphosphate, which means it has 3 phosphate molecules. So if you look at it, we're going to have an adenine piece here with the 5-carbon sugar, and finally you're going to have 3 phosphates on it instead of just the 1. So, just to wrap up, this video covered the primary structure of nucleic acids, the different types of nucleic acids, and finally the functions of nucleic acids.